Black Argentines are Argentines of African descent whose history dates to the 1500s. They are an often overlooked part of Argentina's history and culture. A hidden history. Enslaved Africans were brought to Argentina during Spanish colonial rule, beginning in the 16th century. By the late 1700s, Africans and African descendants made up about 37% of the population of what is now Argentina, and in some provinces they represented more than half of the population. The Guardian. Buenos Aires had large black communities, and African Argentines made significant contributions to agriculture, trade, military service, music, and culture. Scholar works. What happened to black Argentines? A common myth says that black Argentines disappeared. Historians say the reality is more complex. Many African Argentines died in wars, including the War of Independence and the Paraguayan War. Yellow fever epidemics disproportionately affected poorer neighborhoods where many black families lived. Large-scale European immigration changed Argentina's demographics. Intermarriage and government policies of blanqueamiento, whitening, encouraged people of African ancestry to assimilate and become statistically invisible in censuses. Black Argentines today. African Argentines still exist and are working to reclaim their history and identity. Argentina officially recognizes November 8th as the National Day of African Argentines and African Culture, honoring the independence heroine Maria Remedios del Valle. Modern estimates suggest that millions of Argentines may have African ancestry, even though a much smaller percentage self-identifies as African Argentine in official censuses. Contributions to Argentine culture. African Argentines influenced tango music and dance, candombe rhythms, military history and the fight for independence, Argentine language, cuisine, and religious traditions. Lunfardo travel. The story of Black Argentina is not one of disappearance. It is a story of survival, cultural contribution, and historical erasure, now being rediscovered and reclaimed. TravelNoir.com. Tango's Black Argentine roots. Tango did not emerge solely from European immigrant culture. It developed in the late 19th century in the Rio de la Plata region through the blending of African Argentine and African Uruguayan rhythms, European music, rural milonga, and other popular traditions. Scholars describe tango's history as deeply intertwined with Buenos Aires' African Argentine community. Cambridge University Press and Assessment. Black communities organize dances and gatherings known as tangos, candombes, or nacion dances. Their drumming, syncopated rhythms, body movements, improvisation, and call and response traditions help lay the cultural foundation for tango's development. From candombe to milonga to tango, candombe preserved African-derived percussion and communal dance traditions. Milonga incorporated African-influenced rhythmic patterns with guitar music and regional song. Tango emerged from this cultural mixture in working-class neighborhoods, dance halls, courtyards, and port districts of Buenos Aires and Montevideo. Historical evidence connects African candombe, milonga, and early tango as related musical and dance traditions rather than completely separate forms. Diaspora.illinois.edu. As tango became internationally fashionable in the early 1900s, it was increasingly presented as a Europeanized symbol of Argentina. The visible black contribution was often minimized, even as African-derived rhythms and movements remained embedded in the music. UNESCO therefore emphasizes that tango is also African. UNESCO. The history of tango is also the history of Black Argentina, a culture whose influence survived even when its people were pushed out of the national story.